It's time for the claw. Good afternoon, welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety or Triple XL. And yes, that intro, as dramatic as it was, is harkening back actually to Heroes of Newith, where we would do that every time someone bought the claw, which was an actual item that was in the game. And it's kind of cool that they went in this direction as well because of all of their branding, which is all dragon themed. So it makes sense that the claw would be there. And we've got the full product specification spread over here, including obviously the dock, the carry case, the screen protector. We're going to go through all of it. So starting off at the top with the accessory pack, which is currently coming free for a limited time. You get a claw keychain, which is very, very hard. I would hit myself in the head with this, but rather not. Let's not put a concussion on camera. That's kind of a nice thing. You get a screen protector as well, which is, I think, really important, especially because it is a touch screen itself. So you're going to be poking it a lot. And if your fingernails or something were to scratch it, you'll probably be a sad boy burger. Then you get a nice little keychain as well, which you can hook up to the device, as I've got it over here. And then the carry case itself, which is incredibly well put together. We love this RGB kind of effect that they've got going on with the logo touches. And then if you look inside, the padding is what I would call extreme. Welcome to the jungle. So if I just unplug the device over here quickly, and come on, the Type-C in there really gets in there, but the device fits absolutely perfectly, obviously, because it's been designed around this. And then if we flap that down, it can be completely covered and separate from whatever you would want to store in here, which is, I think the idea is to put your charger or spare memory cards or something in here, because it does have an SD card reader. But inside of this carry shell, it is going to be very well protected. I'll just close it up there. And on the zips over here, there's also a locking mechanism, which is kind of cool. So if you're going to put this inside a bag, you can lock it so nobody will have access to the device like that. And then it says grip and game on the top over here with a nice little carry handle. So very nice accessory pack. They're selling this, if you don't get it in time, for 1,000 Rand, and the case is worth every penny of that, never mind the added extras that you're going to get with your device. So we like that. The accessory pack from MSI is very, very good. Very good value, and I think quite necessary for your device. The dock is also going to be something you're going to want to buy, however, because it's very, very convenient. If we have a look at just the port setup from it, you're going to notice that on the far right hand side, there's a dual Type-C next to each other. One of them is for input power. The other one is actually an output. So you could actually dock into dock and go full dockception over there, and obviously anything that you want to connect, like a monitor, etc., from that, you're going to be absolutely fine. Then in the far left Type-C, that's actually for the claws connection into the dock. And then in between there, you're going to see it's got an HDMI, dual USB 3s, and then an RJ45. So it really transforms it into a mobile desktop kind of solution. And you'll see when we get to the benchmarks, the processor is what we would call stacked, especially for a device that's running in this kind of format. So without further ado, let's look closer at the claw itself. So the two control setups are very, very default and what we're used to seeing from Xbox era and PlayStation era type of consoles. And they've copied the best in the best kind of ways, except that these are all Hall effect type of buttons and triggers instead of being the traditional carbon-based ones, which increases their lifetime by about 4 times normal. And really, this kind of device lives and dies with its control setup. The triggers as well have enough travel that I would call it ample. You're going to be able to do probably at least 30%, 50% and full throttle quite easily and comfortably. And similarly with brake and stuff on the left-hand side, both of the triggers are really nicely set up. Having a look around the back, we get some really keen insight into the design methodology behind this, and I absolutely love this setup because The cooling is pulled in from the back over there, and you've got 2 macro buttons as well, which are really well positioned and nice and easy to touch, with the grooves for your hands being also pretty much perfect. With its 50-50 weight distribution, it does have a very nice feel when you're holding onto it. And then if we look at the top, beyond the buttons, where you've got the 2 on the left hand side for your volume, next to your 3.5 headphone jack, that very critical Thunderbolt Type-C, which is where you're going to be interfacing with this a lot of the time, and the SD card reader. The power button also doubles as a fingerprint reader, which is nice for the device's security. But in the middle over there, you're going to notice that beyond the mesh on the left and the right hand side, you've got the actual output for the cooling. So you get the cool air effect coming through where your hands are holding onto the device, and then the hot air is expelled out the top, and that makes it a very nice hand feel. There is a bit of warmth that does come through on the front of the screen, which is kind of expected, but it's not hot. It doesn't feel uncomfortable because cooling has been pushed to the nth degree. And we can see that with the time spy result, where it got in the pretty much the 99th percentile for this hardware configuration, taking into account that the Ultra 5135H that's in here is present in other full fat notebooks. So the fact that it's got that good of performance in this kind of form factor just shows you how much attention has been paid to the cooling setup, and it really has paid off. It feels absolutely fantastic in the hands. And yeah, your boy immediately went for Tekken 7 because I absolutely love Tekken. I've grown up from the Tekken 3 era when that was peak gaming in the early 2000s. Yes, I am that old, and it feels fantastic. I literally sat and grinded out a trophy setup or a treasure battle mode with my Brian until the point that I hit the like intermediate master kind of level. So yeah, I just won like 14 back to back. It was absolutely flawless in its gameplay and control. So what can you expect performance wise out of this? Now, it's really been made around the Intel XeSS, which we've discussed on the podcast, and having used it, it is definitely its strong suit. If we look at something like F123, which is a modern AAA game from Codemasters, you're gonna get in the region of even 100 FPS, which really goes well with this 1080p 120Hz monitor. And that's really the TLDR for this, is if you're going into XeSS titles or to modern titles, if they've got XeSS, it's going to play pretty well. Even if you put it in the super battery mode, it's still going to play pretty well. And you're going to get about, in that normal AI mode, about an hour to hour and a half worth of continuous gameplay. But if you put it in the super battery mode, you can extend that almost to 2.5 hours, which you can see from our battery test over there, where I just had F1 looping on the battery to see how far it's going to get with modern AAA games. The same thing can be said when I was playing like Tekken, and the Tekken is actually such a good baseline thing to use because Unreal 4 engine is used for so many games that you can expect 1080p 60 FPS gaming on any of them, because I had Tekken absolutely maxed out and it was absolutely perfect. I will say, however, it does have a little trigger, a little hiccup and a little thing every now and then, but it's not uber disruptive. It can come through at a bad time, so as a competitive device, I wouldn't see it for that. But gaming on the go, it's flippin' cool. You got to agree, this new era of handhelds is super sick. And if Unreal 4 engine is the sort of limit for ancestral titles, that's a huge library that you're going to unlock over there. Anything that's before that is going to run absolutely flawlessly. It's also incredibly nice for video. The monitor's colors on this is chef's kiss. As you'll see with the Costa Rica over there, it just looked absolutely flawless in its color reproduction. And because it's 1080p on a 7-inch, it's really high pixel density as well. And the continuous video playback was over 6 hours. So it did exceptionally well over there. And that's really just kind of thanks to its 52 watt-hour battery, where the current industry standard for these handhelds is about 40. The included software has also been significantly improved. You can do automatic BIOS updates and stuff from it, which is literally just running a bat file from the desktop, which then does the process for you pretty much automated end to end. Takes about 2 to 3 minutes. You've got a new BIOS and you're back in your M Center and ready to play. The M Center as well has got a lot of really cool functionality, which we'll go through one by one now. So in your settings, there's the AI engine. Now this is pretty critical to how the device functions. You're gonna want to pretty much keep the audio and the performance on with the AI functionality almost always. The lighting is gonna be down to your preference if you wanna have it managed or not. Then you've obviously got your Mystic light so that you can customize your lighting with 3 different profiles and various kinds of effects. It is really nice to have, especially when you're gaming in the dark, that you can actually see the buttons. Then you go to your dynamic audio, which is really good. And the audio on this is exceptional, especially with the built-in speakers. They're flipping amazing kind of for built-in speakers. You've got noise cancellation as well, which is kind of nice to have. So as you're on the go, you'll be able to cancel out stuff from microphones and from your speaker noise cancellation as well. Then if we look at the media gallery, this is a really nice touch. There's a built-in function that you can record your stuff on your screen and then access your pictures from there. System info, it's just very straightforward. It just tells you what's going on the device. But then we get to live update where you'll see on your screen now, you can scan and then check for any of the updates automatically, including that BIOS. And then if you click open, it takes you to the BIOS page and you can download it from there. You just unpack that file and run the bat file as administrator, and then it automatically does the update for you. Then you get to your service area, whereas if you're going to register and get your extra support for your Platinum card setup, and then you've got your general settings to reset the MSI center. That's a really, really nice one to have. So if you maybe make a mistake with some of the inputs and settings that you're doing, you're going to be able to adjust it from there. Then it integrates with all the main gaming platforms as well, and you do get Xbox Ultimate Game Pass with the device. So any of the XESS titles that are on there, you're gonna be able to download. And like I said, any of the ancestral titles, it seems like Unreal 4 engine is kind of the limit for it, and it is a very good engine. So I'm not surprised that it runs as well as it does on this device. But the performance level that we saw from TimeSpy was nothing to turn your nose up at. And currently, from my research at least, it is industry leading at that 3,800 for TimeSpy. So it is the best and strongest of the devices, and best battery, best screen, etc., etc. It doesn't mean it doesn't come at a bit of a tax. You're gonna look at 18,000 Rand for this device, but its longevity should also be the best in market because of the control scheme and everything else that it's got inside of the build. I really think as well, if you don't get the accessory kit, yeah, a bit of a mistake, especially for the screen protector. That's like a must have. The case is a really nice thing, and it's kind of worth 1,000 Rand that they're asking for that anyway. In my opinion, just the case would be worth that, to be quite honest. And the dock is really, really nice, especially if you're going to have a double life. If we look at that Cinebench score now that I've captured over there, you're gonna notice that this has the same multi-threading performance as a Ryzen 5 735HS. So it's very, very powerful on the go. And because it's new Intel Ultra, it's gonna have all of the AI features for your Adobe suite as well. Overall, I think they've put together a really good device. It is kind of pricey. There are cheaper ways to go about doing this, but none will be as nice as this. And as they get that XESS into other games, the performance results kind of speak for themselves, especially when I did the A580. That really made it clear to me when the XESS is performing as expected, it gives the best performance in industry for DirectX 12 games. An A580 costs about 4,500 Rand, say to just under 5K. But the competing products from Team Red and Team Green are going to be 6 and 7 grand respectively to get the same kind of performance. So I think it was daring from MSI to go along this line where we know that Team Red has done so much with APUs, especially in the console space. This was a bit of a leap of faith, and I kind of think it's paid off. I know at launch it had really bad reviews because of BIOS and software, but the BIOS that I just did the update on launched today on the 20th of May. So they are very actively updating it to make sure that you get the best performance from the device. And so over its lifetime, there's some stuff you physically can't change, like the triggers, for instance, or the monitor. You're going to be stuck with that as long as you own the device. And this has implied longevity because of the quality of the components that they've put into this device. If you're into handholds, like your boy, I do quite like this kind of setup, this is the best one. This is the most overkill one. And if you've got to have the best, you're pretty much looking at it. Anywho, that is all I have for you on the MSI Claw If you have enjoyed this review, please hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.